Some of my fondest childhood memories are from volunteering with my grandmother. Helping others was her passion. She'd always say, "The sweetest fruits of life come from serving others." And she was right.
At Shelter Insurance, we strive to make a positive impact in the communities where we work and live.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see Agent J.J. Vickers.
Hi, I'm Danielle Burns with Keller Williams, and here are some of my listings. If you're looking to buy or sell, give me a call. I'm happy to help.
Fire, smoke, or water damage? Let Bryant Restoration take the stress out of the situation. We have over 75 years of combined construction and restoration experience. We are locally owned and work with all insurance companies. Call us anytime. We are open 24/7. You can reach Bryant Restoration at 986-3260 or online at BryantRestorationCo.com.
Hi, I'm Julie Pratt, and I would love to help you plan for retirement. At Belgrade Financial in Deloge, we work to build a financial plan that will focus on your individual needs. Retirement doesn't have to be hard. Let me work for you. Come see me today at Belgrade Financial Services in Deloge.
Hi, I'm Sean Paul, attorney at law here in Bonne Terre, and I have an office in St. Louis. I practice in the area of bankruptcy law, Chapter 7, Chapter 13, and family law. Family law generally is child support, divorce, and other related family issues. So call me today if you need some help, 314-827-4027.
The UniTec Career Center, where we offer tomorrow's training today. We provide job training in industries that need you. Juniors and seniors from area schools can participate in great programs like radio TV, graphic design, culinary, nursing, computer networking, welding, machine tool, construction, residential wiring, computer maintenance, automotive, collision repair, outdoor power equipment, and robotics. Ask your counselor today how you can enroll at the UniTec Career Center.
evening and welcome to the North County R1 School District Board Candidate Forum for the April 6th election. You'll be voting for 2 of the 4 candidates that are on stage today. Those candidates are David Mallow, Dave Barr, Raven Larkin, and Adam Freudel. We do want to thank the UniTec Career Center for coming out and helping provide the YouTube broadcast for those of you that will be watching this online. Afterwards, if you missed anything, for those in the audience, you can go back and find this on their YouTube page. I'm Sean Malone with AM 1240 KFMO. I'll be moderating tonight's event. The way the format will go, we'll go round the table with everyone given 2 minutes a chance to introduce themselves. Then we'll be asking each candidate a question in a rotating format. It'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 in terms of who answers first, then 2, 3, 4, 1, and so on until we're through the 8 questions that we have prepared for our candidates. We'll start with candidate number 1, Raven Larkin. Raven, it's your time.
Hi, my name is Raven. I'm 27 years old. I'm a North County alumni. I've been a mentor, sponsor, supporter, and just an all-around North County Raider fan. I know I'm young, but I'm motivated and passionate about North County, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make the school and community a better organization. Thank you.
All right, candidate 2, Dave Barr.
I'm Dave Barr. I reside in Bonne Terre, have resided in Bonne Terre for 44 years. Live in Bonne Terre with my wife, Sonia. I'm a North County graduate, class of 1988. Went on to Mineral Area College where I got an Associates of Arts degree in business. On to SEMO, Southeast Missouri State, where I got a BS in business administration with a minor in marketing. Currently I'm employed with International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 148 out of St. Louis, Missouri, as a business agent. Prior to that, I worked for Ameren for 21 years, where during that time I served as treasurer for the local for 12 of those years. I own a rental business here in town with my wife, Sonia, Bluffview Rentals. I'm co-owner of Good Earth Monuments here in Bonne Terre. And I serve on several boards in charitable organizations locally in this area. I was born a Raider and have always been a Raider. I'd like the opportunity to serve this district in the capacity on the school board for a term of 3 years and see some of the things that are going on right now, how they progress. So appreciate it.
Candidate 3, Adam Freudel.
Hi, my name's Adam Freudel. I'm a 2001 graduate of North County. I've lived in the area my whole life. I grew up in Deloge, Missouri, and I now reside in Bonne Terre. I live there with my wife, who was also a North County graduate, and my 2 kids, McKinley, who is a 2nd grader right now at North County, and my son Grayson, who is in pre-K. I currently work for the St. Louis Cardinals in the Cardinals front office. I've been there for the last 6 years. I attended Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri, where I got my degree in finance and marketing. I've been a Raider my whole life. I ran last year for the board and things didn't work out quite the way I want to, but I'm really passionate about working with our district and doing what I can. I have a background in revenue generation, so I think that things that I can bring to the table are much different than the current board members and even some of the people up here with me, because my background is in such a unique area with brand building and revenue generation. So I'd love the opportunity to work for the district. Having kids here right now is something that I think is very important for our board, because currently we have 1 member who has children in the district, so something to think about, and I think that's something that really motivates a board member to put everything they have into what they're doing.
And candidate number 4, David Mallow.
Afternoon. Yes, David Mallow. This is my 6th year on the board. I'm rerunning for another term if possible. I'm a North County graduate at 85. I've lived in Bonne Terre pretty much all my life. My wife is a North County graduate, and my son is just a recent North County graduate. I worked for the state of Missouri, been there for 29 years. Run a training program for jobs for the prison setting. I also have a bachelor's degree in industrial technology. It's been a great opportunity to see what goes on for a school district. I think I'll still offer a lot that can happen, and seen things that's went in the past, and I want to continue what we're growing on. Our bond issue is something that we need to continue to prepare and make sure that our money's spent correctly. And I want to see us grow, and we have a lot of opportunities to grow, and I think can help us reach those goals. Thank you.
And thank you. We'll now turn to the questions for Raven. We'll start with you. Question number 1. Over the years, but with an alarming pace, the North County School District has lost excellent staff members simply due to income discrepancies with other districts. The salary schedule is outdated and no longer reflects a commensurate increase with years of service or education levels. If elected, do you have any specific plans on recruitment and retention and with working salary schedules? You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I do agree with that we need an increase somewhere, somehow. I'm young coming into this, so I'm willing to learn on how we can do that and how we can better those salaries for all staff across the board. Not only just one certain area, but see if we can increase it in all areas. I know that it's been needed. It's been brought to my attention that we've lost some great teachers, some great janitorial staff, some great everybody we've lost. And we need to reintegrate this. We need to see where there's areas we can take from or move stuff around to get better income for those guys, so we can keep those educators and staff members in our presence at North County. Thank you.
Thank you, Raven. And now to you, Dave. Same question.
I agree. We've got to come up with some way to retain the staff that we have, the great educators that we got. We don't want to lose them. I think that we got to find the money to be able to do that. This bond issue that was passed, hopefully we are able to fix some problems where we've been spending a lot of money in maintenance, where we can free up some of the money so that we can put it towards that salary schedule, and not just retain what we have, but hopefully recruit other professionals into the district and keep them here.
Adam, we turn to you with the same question.
Obviously, the salary structure is an important thing for our district to improve. To be able to keep the teachers and whatnot here, you have to be able to compete with the other schools in the district. Like I talked about, I have an extensive background in revenue generation, so if I'm able to get a spot, I know there are ways that we can generate money outside of just the normal financial help that we get from the state and from other areas. So if we can find ways to create our own income to add into our budget, we can relieve some of the stress in other areas and continue to raise that reserve that I know we're building, and we have been for the last 2 years. So we're seeing an improvement in our finances already, but we have to continue to find other ways to try to generate revenue so that we can continue to put money back into and invest in our teachers to keep them here. Another thing that we have to do that's going to help get better teachers here is we have to improve our brand in the community. There's been a lot of things that have happened in the last couple years and that are still going on that are putting a black eye out there and making teachers question whether they want to work for our district. I've heard specifically from people in other markets that are alumni that are saying, I don't know that I would want to come work there at this time. So we have to tell our own message, and we have to be proactive about reaching out into the community and controlling the message that's going out so that people aren't reading into stuff and seeing things that are happening and just making judgments not knowing what all has taken place. So we need to be being proactive about controlling the message that we're putting out into the community so that we can recruit good teachers from other areas.
And David, to you with the same question as well.
All right, thank you. It's kind of makes it tough following up everybody else's great answers. And I do feel passionate that if we want to retain great teachers and we want to recruit, we have to do a better job, plain and simple. But money is tough. And there's a lot of areas that money has to go in certain situations to take care of those things. I think we've made some strides over the last few years. We got to continue making those strides. We got to find more. And I think it's putting all our minds together, working as a team, and trying to find that way that we can benefit our staff. And it's going to be tough, but I know that we can do this. And just like Dave Barr talked about, our bond issue is going to help us. Like I said, the infrastructure in our buildings has, it cost a lot of money to run these buildings. And if we can fix this with our bond that we passed and put that money in place, we're going to free up some money, and we just have to look at other areas to where we can tighten. Also, our state legislatures have to help us with money. I mean, that's across all school districts. All school teachers are underpaid, period. And it's to go out and get new students that want to come be teachers, you got to give them some way to be able to say, hey, if I go out and be a school teacher, guess what? I'm going to make a good living. And right now, we're not doing that as a whole community across the nation is providing the money and make it viable for students and people to say, hey, that's a good living to go start a family with. We got to do a better job across the board, but we got to do it right here locally and start there and continue working forward. Thank you.
Thank you. For our second question, as mentioned before with the rotating format, it'll be going to you first, Mr. Barr. Question 2, what qualities do you bring that would help heal the division in the district that we've seen over the past several years?
I think my experience on the different boards that I serve, being a good listener, helping solve problems, just being able to listen and understand where some of the problems are and being able to help come up with the answers to it is helpful in being able to, like you said, mend some of the issues that we have right now within the district.
Mr. Freudel, same question to you.
This is an area there's a lot that has to be mended. There's so many things that have gone on that have created the division within the community. One thing that you'll see from me is if I choose a side on something, I'm going to stick to that side of the situation. You won't see me hopping back and forth. You won't see me talking to someone about one way and then switching to the other side. That's not how I am. The hypocrisy of things that have happened drives me crazy, and that's part of the reason that I'm sitting here, is if one thing is wrong one time, it's going to be wrong the next time with me, and that's how you're always going to get it from me. I'll always be there for people to talk to and listen to. One thing, I'm not hot-headed. I'm very easygoing, so if you want to come sit down and talk to me, even if it's something that you have with me, a problem you might have, happy to sit down and talk, and I take criticism very well. So if somebody wants to come bounce ideas off of me, kind of give me constructive criticism, I'm always open to that. But we got to really take that into consideration and start focusing on healing this community.
Mr. Mallow?
Yes, we have to continue being open about what goes on in our school district. You know, taxpayers pay for everything that goes on here, and we have to be as open as possible we can and make sure that our communication from all sides are listened to. We understand those. We use our policies that are in place, and we take care of those things and fix the problems head on and not let them fester and become more of an issue later on. You know, talk to people. And I think in the past we haven't done a good job of communicating and making sure everybody understands what's going on, what we need, and how we need to fix things. And we just have to be a better team. We truly do. And everybody has, they're all shareholders. And everybody has to take some responsibility and do the right things. And hopefully we can move down the road and be a better North County, because I know we can.
And finally, Ms. Larkin, to you.
I think that all the answers were great again. But coming from me, I've worked from anywhere from the license office to being in emergency medical services and then owning my own facility now. So I deal with a lot of different types of people, like Adam said. If I stick with one side, I'll stick with that side, but I'm not ever afraid to admit my faults. If I'm in the wrong, I'll admit my faults, and let's figure out why it was at fault and move on from there. Also, I'm willing to talk to anyone. I'm pretty open in the community. I'm working in community services right now with my job, so I'm very involved in the community. So I see all walks that go on here, and I see those problems that can arise and how to fix those problems. Not just within the school board or within the school system, but I can reach out to different organizations, and I have a knowledge of that. I also have, a background in being respectful, and I think that is what our community needs as well. We need some morals put back in there. We need some respect put back in there. We need some open-mindedness put back in there, and we just flat out need some passion back in there. As far as for our school, I feel like North County is lacking that school spirit, and I feel like it's lacking in all areas as far as North County. We need that spirit put back in every single aspect that goes on here at North County. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third question will start with you first, Mr. Freudel. What is the public school board's role to ensure that its school district is on a firm financial foundation and stays that way? Also, can you explain how public schools are funded and the difference between proprietary and non-proprietary funds, or restricted and non-restricted funds pertaining to the funding that school districts receive through the revenue created by local, state, and federal taxes and the usage thereof?
There was a lot in that question. And I'll be honest, and I'm sitting next to two board members here, and when it comes to the budget of the schools, it's a lot different than any budget you'll ever work with in anything that you do. Personally, I haven't worked specifically with the school budget yet, so that's something that I'm going to have to learn more about. But I know the funding that we do get comes from the state and federal. Federal is the smaller of the two, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember back from my research that I've done. We have areas of funds that are given to us, like the CARES Act money currently that's coming in from the COVID situation, that those dollars can only be spent on specific items. They can't just go and put it into a new gymnasium or a new track surface or something like that. They have to be spent specifically towards certain situations. I think that has to do with your restricted and non-restricted dollars. But the state funds is going to be a larger amount of money that you're getting, so you're going to based on attendance and whatnot, that's how they fund your budget each year. So retaining kids in the school district, getting them to class, that's very important to what we're trying to do. Trying to think of any of the other questions that were within that question, because it seemed like there were 5 or 6 of them. But I'll go ahead and pass it on to Dave here. He can probably give a little better information just on budgets.
Mr.
I don't know about that one. That one's brutal.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Well, I think we'll just swing this one right here.
Right.
You know, coming on the board, there's a lot that you don't even understand. And that first couple of years of trying to understand what this fund's for, what this fund's for, and there's a lot of checking accounts that you have to manage. And, you know, our superintendent and our officer that's in charge of our finances, you know, we rely on them a lot on what takes place. You know, our federal funds mostly take care of our food service, and our state dollars takes care of pretty much everything else. Unfortunately, a lot of times you don't know what kind of money you're actually going to get until the very end of the year, because the fiscal year ends in June. So you don't get to find out. You know, they always say 100% we're getting money. Well, you don't know that. You usually bank on maybe getting 92 or 93%. And you're gambling on the other part of it. And then same thing with busing. We have the biggest busing in this county. And we spend a lot of money on busing. And that comes out maybe 25 or 30% of money that we actually get from the state. So we have to provide the remainder of that. The different accounts, you know, our teachers come out of one account, this account. It's still, after 6 years, is very hard to understand where all the money goes. And it takes a person that actually helps provide us on the board the information and kind of break it down a little bit more on the generic side to try to help us. You know, you look at your own account at your home and say, okay, this is the amount of money I get per month or week or whatever, and you're budgeting. Us as a school district are doing the same thing, just on bigger numbers. And, you know, that's the superintendent's job. Our job is to make sure that we're seeing those numbers correctly and we're making the correct choices to help pay for all those. And, you know, it comes down to making sure that we have all the funds available that we can get and paying for those and doing what our job is to oversee those things. And it's tough. It's very tough.
Ms. Larkin?
I'm kind of with Adam on that. I have a lot to learn when it comes to that area, but I am familiar with the CARES Act and some certain funding that comes through just in my job that I work at East Missouri. So I understand where some of those funding goes, and I understand, like Dave said, it's hard to put that money right away because some of them have stipulations on it, and sometimes our community members are not aware of that. So I think if we did a better job of kind of showcasing how those are broken down, I think that would help kind of cease the chaos on that. As well as making sure our academics are on point. That way we get as much funding as we can, making sure that our numbers are there, making sure our kids are in attendance, that way that we get the most funding available, and that way we can spend it kind of where we want. But there is stipulations. Like I said, the community has to be aware there is stipulations. We can't run out and put a new track in. We can't run out and put a new all new basketball goals, and we have to kind of be smart with that. And I think that's something that, like Dave said, you have to be a board member to kind of understand that. So I hope I get the opportunity to learn and succeed in that area. Thank you.
And lastly, Mr. Barr, to you.
I'll defer to the CFO. No. That's the guy that Dave talked about that we do rely on. He understands the finances. And like Dave said, yes, we do get the majority of our money comes from the state, and it's told to us where we can spend that money and where we can't. You know, all the organizations and businesses I've been involved in, school finance is by far the toughest I've seen. Federal money, yes, it comes in. You've got that money earmarked for your food service, but also for some of your Title I money, your teacher help services. Bottom line is, as a board, you're to kind of keep an eye, try to understand, and after a year, I'm still learning it. But I have a small grasp on what I'm looking at. I learn more each board meeting, and what I'm looking at to keep this money directed where it's supposed to go. And we have to hear it from those professionals that we hire for the district to tell us and show us where we're at. But as a board member, we are there to understand and keep it in line.
Thank you. And for our fourth question, we'll start with you first, Mr. Mallow, on the end. What attributes and behaviors are essential for School Board of Education members, and what do you see as the primary work of the Board of Education? What is the school board member's role and responsibility, and how does it differ from the role of superintendent or administration?
Another good tough one there. A lot of pieces to that. You know, basically our role is to oversee what the superintendent does. That's our role. The superintendent is in charge of taking care of the whole school. We're there to basically be the board. He's the CEO, and we're just there to make sure that our policies are being followed. We're making sure that the money is spent and the different allocations, and when time comes up where things have to be voted on for a board for policy, we're there to make those decisions, whether it be hiring, discipline, when it comes all the way to the top. There's certain things we don't even deal with, but mainly it's just to make sure that the superintendent is doing their job.
Ms. Larkin, to you with the same question.
I think our roles are exactly what Dave said. I think we are there to make sure that the superintendent is doing their job, but I also think we're there for a bigger purpose as well. Not only just as a superintendent, not only as to make sure that they're doing their job, but also to promote. Like, we need to be there as a school board to promote, and I think that's what's going to get our numbers and get our community more involved if we're there as a unity and show unity, not just there as to always be there when there's something wrong. Let's be there when there's things going right too. The qualities that you need, I think, to be on the school board or be a member is, one, you need to be compassionate, you need to be motivated to get in there and make things right or showcase when things are going wrong. Thank you.
Mr. Barr, to you.
As a school board member, our role is to oversee what's taking place within the district. It's not to micromanage what's going on in the district, but to oversee it. Help any way that we can. Be the ears for folks that need some help, have questions. Community, teachers, administrators, on down the line. But we are not to come in and dictate what's going to happen in that boardroom. We are there to just oversee. Again, as Dave said, the superintendent is your CEO of the district. We're there to support him. The other thing, I think we do need to be in the community. The community needs to see us. We need to get that bond in the community and show, in our case, Raider pride.
And lastly, Mr. Freudel, to you.
They've all kind of talked about it. The board is here to be that checks and balances with our administration, the superintendent, the assistant superintendents. We need to be there for the teachers within the community, so when people have potential issues with things that are going on, they can reach out and they can bounce those concerns off of you. And then you have to have the ability to present it in a way to the board or the superintendent and other folks, and not in an aggressive or attacking way, but let's find out what's going on here and let's figure out how we can help solve this issue. As a board, also, the main priority for all of us should be the students within the district. We should be in that room to do whatever it is to help the students to get the best education that they can, to be safe at school, and to help them just further to become good citizens in the community. The students are going to be us up here one day, so we need to be doing everything in our power to give them everything that they need so that they can come in, because they're the future of our community.
Thank you. Now that we're back to our fifth question, it'll go back around the bend to the beginning. So, Ms. Raven, we'll start with you. What issues do you believe the North County School District needs to address in its academic programs and offerings? And what changes would you recommend, if any, to better prepare students as productive citizens?
My thing is I need to get in there, and hopefully I get voted on so I can see those issues. I've heard some issues, within my own family. I do have a sister that goes to North County. But I hear these issues, and I am a coach. I own my own facility, so I hear these issues in and out of my gym all the time of, it's this and that and this, but it's all hearsay. So for me to answer that question honorably, I would have to be in there and see, like, a present board member to see those and understand that and be able to answer that question better. So in my own personal opinion. Thank you.
Mr. Barr?
Some of the issues we're faced right now in our district that I think have to be addressed is our early childhood, the less fortunate kids, the kids who come from broken homes, from homes where the kids don't know when they leave school, is this their last meal they're going to get? Those kids, we have got to, it's a huge issue. We've got to get them the help, whatever we can do, and it starts at the younger age. Because if we don't capture it there, as they get older, we're going to deal with that all the way throughout school for them. That's one of the bigger issues that I think needs to be addressed immediately. I think there's some other things that the board is looking at. You call them issues if you want, but I think we're reviewing our what we're going to do for our food service. Are we going to continue to contract that out? We're going to bring it in-house. That's something that I think we need to look at also.
Mr. Freudel?
Can I get a full repeat of the question?
Yes. What are the issues, or what issues do you believe the North County School District needs to address in its academic programs and offerings, and what changes would you recommend, if any, to better prepare students as productive citizens?
That's an ever-evolving situation, I believe, because the academics are always changing. There's always new programs that are available. I remember when I came through, like, sports and entertainment wasn't something that we ever focused on, and now that's my career. Like, that was something I didn't know about till I was a senior in college, and I finally started figuring that out. So we need to be focused on being at the forefront in that area so that we can make sure that we're giving our students the right opportunities to go out in their career once they leave North County to go on to college or to go on to their next job. So other things that we can try to improve even outside of just the academics there with the extracurriculars, whether it be sports or band or other situations there. That's one thing that I've learned in my career is there's ways to generate revenue with those kind of items as well. So if we can generate revenue with our big sports to help fund some of the smaller sports, then we can create opportunities to have other clubs or other organizations or push some of that funding back towards academics so that we can help out with the students going forward.
And Mr. Mallow, to you.
Well, I think the great positive is we've had some great scores with our students on the testing they've done, and that goes back to the teachers and administrators and the staff that we have. They continue to strive to be better, and I think we just need to provide them more resources, more tools. We bring up the pay and get that more competitive, and we compete for better teachers, keeping our better teachers. We have to compete, and that goes across the board. Giving kids the opportunities they deserve, we need to provide those. The world's changed a little bit over the last few years. Some of these extracurricular activities kind of left a lot of kids out, but it also gives ways to learn different things and go about different ways of making things happen. We need to do a better job of being proactive on some items. So, like Dave said, Adam said some things, those are all kind of hitting those areas. So I think our UniTec is providing something that's going across our nation about our trades. I think that's our next one of our big areas that's going to be growth. And I think we need to be very proactive with that inside our school district itself, far as North County, not just UniTec, but also growing at the high school level down to the junior high part of it. So those opportunities for these young men and women when they come out of school, whether they go on to further their education or they go into work, we need to make sure that we're preparing them people to prosper. And those opportunities are forthcoming, and I think we keep working to get those things established. We'll go a long way with how our district is perceived.
Thank you. We'll start with you for this next question, Mr. Barr. What are your thoughts on North County School District's programs for special education concerning special needs students? And can you explain the IEP, the Individual Education Plan process? Also, if a parent approached you with a special education concern and stated that he or she felt that there are systematic problems concerning special education for special needs students, what would you do?
For special needs kids, the IEP is a program for these students that need the extra help, and I support that totally. I think that moving forward, we are going to have to probably shuffle some of our budgetary money around so that we can support these programs more than what we do right now. It's a program that we have to have, as I spoke at the last question. Some of those folks that I'm talking about are in need of this process, this program, and we need to broaden the horizon in the district, in the school, this program, and help any and all that need this.
Mr. Freudel?
I don't have like an extensive background in this area, which I don't think many people do, really understanding the kind of how the funding works for that, but we always need to be doing more and trying to do as much as we can to help the kids that are behind or need the special education help. So just kind of trying to focus on that and put more funding towards it, like Dave said, to try to help those kids as much as we can to kind of get them back up to speed or to help them through their high school career. If I had a parent with an issue approach me, that's something I would immediately take to the board members to discuss and try to find a resolution the best way we find possible.
Mr. Mallow?
Yes, the federal program is something that helps with that, but on the state level, we need more help. We get more and more kids that are needing these types of programs. So, like Dave Barr said, we have to shuffle money to make those things happen, and it becomes more and more on our budget, and we have to find those professionals to help with those need of children in those areas, and it makes it tougher and tougher to recruit those type of counselors, teachers to fit those certain criteria. So we just have to do a better job. We have to reach out in our community. We got a lot of work ahead of us. It's not a problem that's going to go away. It's increasing, and we have a lot of kids that rely on us, and families rely on us. And I think as North County, we've done a decent job, but it's going to continue to be a bigger part of our reason to grow, is to be broader, helpful, and get those kids the help they need to help them prosper.
And Ms. Larkin.
Coming from someone that's dealt with the Special Olympics and volunteered with the Special Olympics and have a program in our facility working with special needs, I get that it is a very, very big need in our area. It's a need for not only our districts, it's a need for their families, like my other candidates stated. I think it's something that we just need to reach out. If we can't do it with state funding, we need to start reaching out. Local businesses, bigger, high up persons, we need to start reaching out. Is there grants out there? Is there this? Is there that? We just need to start digging a little bit deeper. I never knew what was out there until I started, looking into it. Especially when you start talking about special needs, I feel like that should be dear to anyone's heart, to step in and try to help out. As far as if someone approached me with an issue, like they all said, it's stop, drop, and let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can look at the picture and see how we can fix it. So 100%. Thank you.
Mr. Freudel, we'll start with you for this question. What is the role of schools in teaching children about topics such as sex education, cyber safety, social diseases, social justice, wellness, or bullying?
I think with all of these topics, it's our duty to make sure these kids are educated going out into the community, because a lot of them may not get the mentorship that they need at home to help let them understand all these different areas. So there's a lot more going on in the world, especially like when you think about bullying and cyberbullying and things of that nature, that as a school we need to be in the forefront to try to help in those situations, because if we're not, they may not have that kind of support at home to kind of help them understand what they're dealing with.
Mr. Mallow?
Kind of what Adam said. I mean, it's something that we continue to, it changes all the time. Technology changes. So these kids have a lot more that they deal with than what we did as youngsters. So the bullying, things on the internet, what goes on in our world, they see it all. They have it to the flip of their hand in their phone, and they see so much different things that, are they prepared to deal with this? So as a district, there's a fine line of how far we can go, and we have to follow our policies on what we need, but we need to be proactive and do everything we can to ensure the safety, and those kids, hopefully they're prepared when they go out into the real world.
Ms. Larkin?
All of those topics can be a disgusting matter, unfortunately, because it starts at a young age now in our world. It starts at, from first grade up. I mean, I know one of you guys have a young daughter up here. I mean, I know that it starts young, and we have to be proactive, like Dave said. It's not just talk about it. We have to get out there and do it. If that takes some arm work, if it takes some leg work, we have to get out there and do it. It might be some volunteer work to get out there and get these programs started, or get someone in the district that can, be a good counselor or be a good mentor and start a program. It might, like I said, not everything takes money starting out, especially if you've got businesses willing to donate. I know we would be. So if you've got businesses that's willing to donate, or some people that's willing to come forward, it takes some people getting out there in the community, or the people that's involved in the community, to get out there and tell the story. I think that's the problem. If we just get out there and talk to the community about these issues, of these programs, they'll be willing to come in and help out. Thank you.
And lastly, Mr. Barr.
All these issues or topics can be big issues. And I do think that the school district has to play a big role in educating these kids on these topics. However, as Dave Mallow said, we have to do that within our school policies. As we all know, this can change in a heartbeat. You go beyond the school policy, next thing you know, we're involved in a lawsuit. It's sickening right now these days. So yes, I think we have to educate. We got to watch what we do and stay within the bounds of the policies on these issues.
All right, thank you. And for our final question, we'll start with you first, Mr. Mallow, on the end. How will you contribute to effective operations of the board as a whole, and what do you believe is the best way to address differences of opinions on the board between board members or the administration, and could you support a board administration decision that you did not vote in favor of? Why or why not?
Repeat that one more time there.
No problem. How will you contribute to effective operations of the board as a whole, and what do you believe is the best way to address differences of opinions on the board between board members or the administration? And could you support a board or administration decision you did not vote in favor of? Why or why not?
Well, as a board member, you have to be open. I mean, we have 7 different people on the board, and we have a lot of diversity. You're not going to agree on every matter that comes up, and that's a good thing. You need everybody's insight, everybody's opinion, and what they bring to the table to come up with the best decision. You're going to have a decision that you do not agree with. You're going to have a 4-3 vote, and it's not going to go your way all the time. The next day, you move forward. You take what happens, and you move forward, and you make the best of it. Because if you fret or that becomes an issue of that not passing in your way, you're not doing your district justice. Continue to help, continue to look forward. I think myself, I've done a pretty good job of that, and I want to continue to grow, help the school grow, and you know, you're going to make mistakes, and you learn by your mistakes, and that's what we try to teach our kids is, you know, take those times where things didn't go right and make them a positive and grow from that. And you know, this school district is a great school district. We will make it better. Just, you got to work at it.
Ms. Larkin?
I think I would contribute as a school board member, mainly because the school is dear to my heart. Like Dave said, you have to be open-minded, but you have to also have to have the want to be there as well. I think that's a big part of it. You know, when you're sitting in that board room and you're making a decision, you have to, like he said, you're not always going to agree with someone, but you have to be open-minded and fullness to step back, see the bigger picture, and say, okay, that was the best decision for the right reason. I think that I'm like that, coming from my backgrounds of life. I've had to do that in many situations. Sometimes I didn't like it, but at the end of the day, it was the best decision, and that's how we have to think. I think that I'm stepping into this brand new. I'm going to be totally honest. Honesty is the best policy, and I'm stepping into it brand new. I'm up against some great competition here, but if I got the opportunity, I think I could be like that, and I'm willing to learn from people like that, and learn from these guys up here, and contribute the best I can to it. Thank you.
Mr. Barr?
So in the boardroom, yes, you have to be very open-minded. You got to be a good listener. You know, while you're trying to make that decision, it's not always your way. You've got to be able to listen. You got to be able to reason. You got to have great discussion. As Dave said, that 4-3 vote, it may not go your way, but you can't let that stick to you, not just till tomorrow, because guess what? You're getting ready to make another decision, and it's just as important as the last one. So you got to be able to put that behind you and move forward. So like I said before, being a listener, being able to have a discussion is one of the things that I think I bring to this board, where I can help make that decision and those decisions and move forward and keep it very positive.
And Mr. Freudel?
The best board you're going to get is a board that's got differing mindsets, differing opinions, that will challenge each other in good conversation, and then will support each other once the decisions are made. That's one thing that if I don't think somebody's making the right, I sat in on the last board meeting, and there was a 7-0 vote that I would have been on the other side of. And I would have probably been more vocal in challenging some of it, but once the vote goes down, I'm going to support my other board members on the decision. We've seen in the past votes of the board that have been controversial and not let go in the community. So things have to be decided in the room and then support each other fully going forward. You're not always going to win, but you have to just know that and feel that the people in the room with you are making the best decision for the students, and hopefully all those decisions will be made putting the students first. Because like I've said in my campaign, students, staff, success. If you put the students first, it's going to take care of your staff as well, because if you want your students to have the best education, you're going to want to have the best staff available. So you're going to work hard to try to get them the best money to recruit and retain the best teachers. And if you can do that, then you're going to be successful as a district.
All right, thank you. We do want to give the candidates one opportunity to give some closing statements, so we'll give them the chance to do that now. Ms. Larkin, we'll start with you.
Well, thanks for having me up here, guys, and thanks for everyone kind of giving me a lot of support. I've had a lot of support over the last few weeks. My campaign was a little slow due to my dad having throat cancer. So I really want to thank everyone for coming together with me at the last minute. I know I'm young. I know my age kind of scares people off, but I'm willing to learn. I've been involved since I left here in 2012. You know, I was an alumni. I'm still involved, still have students that come to me every day from here. And it's just been an honor to say that I'm a North County graduate, and I want everybody to have that same feeling. And I think that's why I would be a good board member, is because I'm very passionate about blue and gold. If you ask anybody that knows me, that's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping everybody that comes through these doors, or any athlete that comes to me that's needing help, just because I want to make this school a better place. And I'm up against, like I said, I'll say it again, I'm up against some great competition. And I think whoever you pick up here is going to represent North County in the greatest possible way that we can. You just have to give two of us an opportunity. Thank you for the time.
Mr. Barr.
I'd like to say thanks to the Bonne Terre Chamber and the Deloge Chamber for putting this forum together. We appreciate it. You know, I'll keep it simple like I did a year ago when I ran for the one-year term. You know, to give the student the best education that we can give them, it's in simple terms. One, this district has to be solvent. We've got to financially be stable so that we can retain those teachers, educators that we need, and also recruit new good ones to come in and develop and be a Raider. Again, I appreciate the chance to serve the last year. Hopefully I get to serve another 3. And thank you all for coming out tonight, and all of you watching on YouTube.
Mr. Freudel.
First and foremost, thank you to the chambers, like Dave said, for putting this on for us. Hopefully we can continue to get better involvement in these things, and the community to continue to support the board the best that they can. I'm really, truly looking forward to the opportunity to serve on the board with one of the other people sitting up here. It's hard that way, but that's just kind of the nature of what's going on here. But I'm very passionate about the school. Having 2 children in the district is hugely important for me now. For the next 12 years, I'll be directly invested in the district because of my kids being there. And I don't think there's anything anyone with children out here will say that they're going to always be the focus of your life. And so I will put everything that I have into the district to make it the best situation for our students. I just am looking forward to this opportunity and hopefully get the chance to do it this year.
And lastly, Mr. Mallow.
Again, thank you for everyone that has helped put this together. A great event. Thank you for the rest of the people that are running for the board. It was awesome. I mean, they've all said it. Any of us 4 will make great candidates and will help the school move forward. But me, as I feel that I want to help continue growing our district. I want to see us prosper. I want to see our kids be the best in this whole state, not just this area. And we have those opportunities. I want to be a part of that. I think there's some things that we got coming there I can help. And I want to say thank you all, and I appreciate very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And lastly, to round things off, thank you to all the candidates that came out tonight and participated in the forum. Thank you also to the Bonne Terre and Deloge Chamber of Commerce, for the UniTec Career Center for putting on the YouTube production as well. A reminder for those of you watching and here in the audience, we'll have full election coverage on April the 6th night on AM 1240 KFMO, beginning at 7 o'clock, with special guest State Representative Mike Henderson joining us as a guest analyst as well. Once again, a reminder, the election will be held on April 6th, and you'll be voting for 2 of the 4 candidates here on the stage. Otherwise, thank you guys and enjoy your night.